Right now, somewhere on your business bank statement, there's a small charge waiting for you. $29, $49, maybe $99 if you upgraded last year and forgot. It's the chatbot. The little bubble in the corner of your website that says, "Hi there, how can I help you today?" You set it up 18 months ago during a slow week when a sales call promised it would save you hours. It probably did save you hours. But it's also been quietly billing you every single month since, whether a single customer used it or not. Multiply that by the thousands of small businesses doing the exact same thing across the country, and you start to see how big this quiet little charge really is. Here's the part almost nobody tells small business owners. The real answer, the actual technology doing the work inside that chatbot, costs absolutely nothing. Not a discount. Not a limited time free tier that expires in 30 days. $0 every month for as long as you run your business. Take a second with that. What would change if that line item simply vanished from your statement permanently starting today? Here's the reframe that makes the rest of this make sense. Every chatbot subscription you've ever paid for is selling you exactly three things, dressed up in a friendly interface and a monthly invoice. A brain that reads what your customer types and writes back a reasonable answer. A memory that knows your business, your hours, your policies, your prices. And a way to bring in an actual human when the robot gets stuck. Three pieces. That's the entire product, no matter how slick the marketing looks. And every one of those three pieces you can build yourself this week on a laptop you already own for free. Sounds impossible, it's not. It's just not something anyone profits from telling you. So let's start with the brain. When you pay for most chatbot platforms, what you're actually paying for is access to something called an API. Decode that for a second. An API is basically a locked door. A company builds a powerful AI model, puts it behind that door, and charges you a small fee every single time you knock. Every message your customer types is a knock. Every reply the bot sends back is another knock. Knock, knock, knock. 100 conversations a month becomes 1,000 knocks, and the bill grows quietly in the background, usually without you ever seeing the math behind it. Picture a small cafe that gets 2,000 chat messages a month. Each knock costs a fraction of a cent on its own. But fractions of a cent, multiplied by thousands, every month forever, is exactly how a starting at $29 plan quietly becomes 90, then 150 6 months later. Now here's the part that should genuinely surprise you. You don't have to knock on anyone's door. You can own the brain outright, the same way you own your laptop, your phone, or your printer. There's a category of AI called a local LLM, short for large language model, that you download once, and it runs entirely on your own machine. No subscription, no API key, no charge per message ever again, no matter how many conversations happen. A free tool called Alama makes this almost embarrassingly simple. Install it, type one short command, and a model like Llama or Mistral downloads and starts running, often in under 20 minutes, on a completely ordinary laptop. You don't need a gaming computer, and you don't need anything special from an IT department. A laptop you bought a few years ago, the same one you use for email and spreadsheets, is more than enough to run a model that can read, summarize, and reply to customer messages all day long. Once it's there, it's yours, permanently. It doesn't call home, it doesn't check in with a billing server, and it doesn't care how many questions you ask it tonight, next week, or next year. Feels almost like a loophole, doesn't it? It isn't, it's just quiet. Nobody advertises it because nobody makes a cent the moment you find out. But a brain on its own isn't enough yet. Here's why. A brand new local model, fresh out of the box, knows almost nothing about your specific business. It doesn't know your return window is 30 days. It doesn't know you're closed on Mondays. It doesn't know that orders over $50 ship free. This is exactly where most paid chatbot companies act like they're doing something complicated, something proprietary, something worth a monthly fee. They're not. What they're actually doing has a simple name: Retrieval Augmented Generation, or RAG for short. Decode that too. RAG just means the AI gets handed your own documents, your FAQ page, your policies, your price list in the moment right before it answers, like someone sliding it a cheat sheet under the table. You can build this yourself for free with a tool called Anything LLM. Here's how simple it is. Drop your FAQ document into a folder. Drop your shipping policy in. Drop your return policy, your hours, your most common email replies, anything at all. Anything LLM reads those files, and the moment a customer asks a question, it quietly hands the right paragraph to your local model before it responds. Change a policy next month, just update the document. The chatbot knows the new answer instantly. No retraining. No support ticket with a vendor, no waiting for an update that takes 3 weeks to roll out. Say a customer types, "Do you ship to Alaska?" Your local model checks the shipping document you dropped in last week, finds the line about Alaska and Hawaii, and answers correctly in plain language in seconds without ever sending that question anywhere outside your computer. That's the second piece. A memory built entirely from files already sitting on your computer, costing nothing but the 10 minutes it takes to drag them into a folder. Now for the third piece, the handoff. Even the best AI hits a wall sometimes. A customer is upset about a late delivery. A question is unusual. Someone types, "I want to talk to a real person," and means it urgently. Paid platforms love to charge extra for this. They'll call it escalation or live agent handoff, like routing a message to your own inbox is some kind of premium feature you should feel lucky to have. It isn't a premium feature. It's a notification, and you can build it for free. A free automation tool called N8N lets you set up one simple rule. If your local AI isn't confident in its answer, or if a customer's message contains certain phrases, the entire conversation gets forwarded straight to your email or your phone, instantly, with full context attached. Setting this up looks less like programming and more like arranging building blocks on a screen. You drag a box that says, if message contains refund or speak to a person. Connect it to a box that says send email, and you're done. No code, no developer, no monthly fee for the privilege. This pattern has a name too. It's called the human-in-the-loop effect, and it might be the single most useful framework in small business automation right now. The AI quietly handles the predictable 90%. You step in for the 10% that actually needs a human. Nothing falls through the cracks and nothing costs $1. Put those three pieces side by side for a moment. Alama for the brain, Anything LLM for the memory, N8N for the handoff. 3 free tools, 3 afternoons of setup at most, and together they quietly replace a subscription you've been paying for years. Picture it end to end for a second. A customer visits your site at 11 at night. They type a question about your return policy. Your local AI, reading from your own documents, answers it correctly in 2 seconds while you're asleep. Another customer types something angry about a damaged package. Your AI senses the tone, can't resolve it confidently, and forwards the whole conversation to your phone before you've even finished your coffee the next morning. A brain. A memory, a handoff. 3 pieces working together, all free, all running quietly on hardware already sitting on your desk. So why does almost nobody do this? Here's the twist, and it's the uncomfortable part. The paid version isn't just more expensive. It's also less yours, in a way most business owners never stop to think about. Every message your customer types into a paid chatbot travels somewhere else first. To a server you've never seen, run by a company you've never met, governed by a privacy policy almost nobody reads. Your customer's email address. Their complaint about a damaged order. A phone number, typed in a moment of frustration at midnight. All of it stored indefinitely on someone else's hard drive by default. Most business owners never read the privacy policy attached to their chatbot, and most never have to think about laws like the California Consumer Privacy Act, because someone else's servers are technically holding the data, not theirs. But someone else's problem is exactly how small businesses end up with risk they never agreed to and can't fully see. With a local setup, none of that happens. The conversation starts on your machine. It ends on your machine. It never travels anywhere else at all. So this was never only about the $29 a month. It's about something bigger. How many businesses on your street could honestly look a customer in the eye and say, "Nothing you tell us ever leaves this building"? Probably none of them. After today, yours can be one of the first. Think about that for a second in a much older context. For most of human history, the tools a person depended on were tools they could see, touch, and repair with their own two hands. A farmer fixed their own plow. A weaver adjusted their own loom. If something broke, you didn't wait for a company 3 states away to issue a patch. You fixed it yourself because it was yours. That instinct didn't disappear because it stopped working. It disappeared because, slowly, ownership got harder to see. The plow became a subscription. The loom became a login. The toolbox became a billing page you skim past once a month, hoping the number hasn't crept up again. Somewhere along the way, that changed. Today, a small business quietly depends on a dozen invisible subscriptions, each one a tiny toll booth, each one free to raise its price, change its terms, or disappear, entirely on someone else's schedule, not yours. Bringing your chatbot home, onto your own laptop, built from your own documents, answering with your own words, isn't nostalgia and it isn't anti-technology. It's the oldest instinct in business, finally applied to the newest tool ever built. If it runs your business, you should be the one who owns it. So picture that small charge again sitting on your statement. $29, $49, maybe more, quietly renewing for months, maybe years, without you ever really looking at it. It doesn't have to renew again next month. It doesn't have to exist at all. Because the real answer, the one nobody profits from telling you, was free the entire time. Comment below or click thumbs up icon to let me know you need a more detailed step-by-step demo setting up this chatbot in your own laptop. So you stop paying for paid chatbots and save your small business the headache on data privacy liabilities.